Okay, welcome back everyone. What we're going to do now is we're moving into Module 3. Up to this point in time, we've talked about the concept of communication process. We looked at the very beginning of the communication process. We looked about the encoding part. In particular, we looked at the critical thinking aspect and then the organizing of these critical thoughts in preparation for writing. Particularly, we considered the use of an outline for business writing purposes, which not only helps us keep things in logical order, but helps us keep ourselves on track so we know and we do not miss any information. Now, in this particular module, Module 3, we're going to take that outline, take that critical thinking, take that outline, and we're now going to move into some very basic writing and essay development. So at this point, let's continue and talk a little bit more about what we expect to see. In Module 3, we have gone from the critical thinking, the gathering of the ideas, to the outlining, putting these ideas in order on paper, and then we're now going to move into the actual essay development, the fleshing out of your outline. Basically, what we're talking about are letters make words, and words sentences paragraphs, and paragraphs create essays, and that by itself is correct. And you need to know how to do that, what that means, and how to do it properly. But it's the overall meaning that you are presenting in these letters, words, sentences, paragraphs, and essays that are important. If the message is not there, all is lost. One major thing which I find a lot of times with students is the lack of a logical flow. And logical flow not only means from the beginning to the end, which is the macro, but also a micro, that each paragraph has logical flow, which leads into the next paragraph and so on. Now, I will present more on this in the Module 3 lecture video, which will be available, I believe, according to the schedule on Wednesday morning. Again, we're going to talk about paragraph development and essay development in this particular module. Now, there are a couple of documents that you'll be looking at. We'll talk about those again briefly. We're also going to talk briefly about in the essay, in the lecture video, the requirements of drafts and presenting an appropriate final. Most students don't do the draft. They think that the first version is correct. Well, I'm going to present to you, well, you really need to be able to have at least one or two drafts with other individuals or groups, or maybe even criterion, in this case, reviewing it. So more on this later. Okay, now what are the readings, viewings, and whatnot for Module 3? As you can see here on the screen, we have a video which I did not prepare, called Introduction to Business Writing, Rules versus Guidelines. It actually is a pretty good one with regards to telling you what you were taught in English composition, for example, is not necessarily, and in many cases not at all, acceptable in business communication, so to speak. So you will find that in the YouTube channel, playlist 4. Also, there are 4 documents that I'd like you to take a look at. 2 of them are online, and the 2 online ones have hyperlinks already in Blackboard, which you can click, and it will take you there. If you want, you can print those up and use those down the road also. Additionally, I have attached in Blackboard 2 additional documents. So you can, again, download those, print them up, whatever you see fit and how to use them. And also we do have, when we're all done with discussing the Module 3 activities, I will have a wrap-up video review lecture, which I currently have available, or plan to have available. You can see there on the screen. Alrighty, let's now move on to the assignments. So let's take a look at the Module 3 assignments. The first, obviously, are the readings and viewings, which you currently have available to you, and they will be due by the start of class on the date presented on the screen. Next is the pre-discussion quiz, which also is now available. Again, I suggest you do all the readings and viewings prior to that and complete it again by the due date on the screen. We'll do a team basic writing activity. As you can see, the date, start date there, and the due date. We'll move on then into an individual basic writing activity. Now again, this basic writing activity is based upon the outline that you created in Module 2. You can see that we're going to start, we're going to have another strategy session, date provided there. I'm attempting to get this in the classroom, or excuse me, in a conference room in University Hall. If not, it'll be back in the classroom. But again, I will give you plenty of warning on that. And the due date for this is available. Finally, we have the concluding Module 3 quiz here. Our assigned date, due dates presented on the screen. Okay, that should wrap it up for the Module 3 fact sheet. As always, questions, you know how to get a hold of me, please do so. Thanks and take care now.